AM customer care. My name is Yolanda. How can I help you?
Thank you for answering the phone. I'm a member out here at Sundance in Buckeye, and I haven't received a bill for my dues yet. We've only got like 3 or 4 days left in the month. Last month was the same thing. I didn't get my dues bill until like the 22nd or 23rd of December. I've been here almost 20 years. We used to get these bills 2 and 3 weeks ahead of time. They were mailed out around the first of the month preceding. This is unsatisfactory. I want to make sure that my dues are paid on time by the first, and I have
Account number, address?
Okay, the account number is 1448619, and the address is 23327 West Twilight Trl Buckeye.
Yeah, unfortunately, sir, those went out on March 7th.
I didn't receive them. I haven't received them. The thing of it is like last month, they hit me with a $4,300 fine. In September, if you have my record, my data there, in September, my bill was $285. There was nothing on my bill. No liens, no fines, no nothing. It was a straight $285, and over that period of time, that 3 months, I received no letters. I received no registered mail from a lawyer, no registered mail from the HOA out here. I never had a hearing in front of the board. I believe the state law is before they can fine you, they have to give you a hearing in front of the board. I was sucker punched. I felt sucker punched because for 3 months I thought I was in the clear. $285 on September, nothing on the bill, no communication. I'm kicked out of the HOA, by the way. They kicked me out of the HOA 4 years ago because I don't agree with how they have one of the easements over here purposed. Okay? The easement doesn't agree with the plat map, but it does agree with the tribal knowledge that took place out here 20 years ago. The plat map is not being observed, and I'm a troublemaker. I've been a troublemaker ever since I've been here. And I want to know where this bill is, because I'm going to pay the dues, and right now, if you want, I'm going to pay $313 a quarterly assessment. I haven't been given a hearing on this fine. I don't know how much legal knowledge you have, but they've been fining me for years out here. Okay? Every little thing they fine me on. I don't dare go to the mailbox. Every time I want to do something to my yard or my house, if I start doing it, I'm afraid to go to the mailbox. Now, if you can explain to me, can I send this payment to this address with a note that I'm paying just the dues? I'm not going to pay the fine. I want to pay the dues.
That is correct.
That's right.
Yes, you just put your account number on there.
All right, and I'm going to sell it. I'm going to spend the $15 to get a return receipt on this. Right now, Caroline, who runs the office out here as a manager, hangs up on me. When I try to call her and I talk to her in a level voice like I'm talking to you and trying to explain to her what's going on, is she's been told, do not talk to Mr. LaShawn. Do not talk to him about anything, all right? hang up on him. Do not get in a conversation with him. He knows more than you do, okay, about the easement and the law. Now, the law says I have to have a hearing. I'm not going to pay this. And the reason I'm so anal retentive and I'm so passionate about this today in this call is because the minute I miss one dues payment, they're going to foreclose on me. I've been here 20 years, almost 20 years. I had 3 houses here. 2 of them were empty most of the time I owned them. But I still paid the dues on them. I never used the facility. All right? I had a job. It was like the military. I didn't have weekends off. So every time they threw a party or a get-together or anything social in the adult center, I couldn't go because of my work schedule. I worked graveyard and I worked weekends. I never used their facility. All right? But when I started complaining about the easement over here, they kept it under the rug, willful ignorance. We're not gonna honor the plat map, even though the plat maps are for places like Phoenix. Plat maps, we don't observe plat maps in Buckeye. We're outside the 12-mile limit out here. Okay, we got a different way of doing things in Buckeye. All right, might as well be in Waco, Texas, Wacko. Okay, the way they do things. But I want to pay this thing off, and I want an investigation as to why am I not getting my mail? Why didn't, if you sent it out on the 7th and you did it the last time, I got totally sucker punched at Christmas time. You know how some people, when Christmas comes, they go overboard? They go overboard with their spending, okay? If I would have done that for 3 months leading up to Christmas, if I would have went out and spent all kinds of money leading up to Christmas, and then 2 days before Christmas, I go to the mailbox, I open up my mail, and there's a $4,500 bill for my dues plus about $4,300 worth of fines, and I haven't received one letter, one notification. I'm kicked out of the HOA. My key card doesn't work, and I can't use it. It's been put out of action for 4 years. I'm 74 years old. All right, I told them, take me off your mailing list. I don't go on your website. If they do send me a letter and they say, go do somersaults on your computer to look up, they should have a picture with the whatever they're writing up. Verado puts a picture on the letter they send you. Whatever they're writing up, the picture is on the letter. I have to go onto the computer, and I don't use your website. The day she kicked me out of the HOA and canceled my key card, I told her never send me any more notices, and I'm not ever going to go on your website. And we've had it out with her. I've told her, I even got proof that I told her from now on, any letter you send me, I'm not going on your computer to look it up. You send me a picture. And another thing is, there's no description of what I violated. Now, I've been paying fines on this one problem with the HOA for now over a year. I sold a house a year and a half ago just to get away from the HOA. My house right now was built wrong. And the HOA, I have to give them money. They're supposed to honor the contract, and they're not honoring the contract. When I tell them the plat map says we're supposed to have an emergency exit here, we're supposed to have golf cart, we're supposed to have drainage, it's all on the plat map, and what they tell me is, if you continue this argument, and every time you come in here, you disrupt our meetings with this plat map issue and the easement, we don't want you with us. All right, and I've been kicked out for 4 years and I'm getting fined and I have no clue. All they do in their letters is tell me you're doing something to your yard, and until you tell us what you're doing or get permission. And every write-up I ever got from them, they never reference the CC&Rs. I got a write-up for a state tree, but they didn't send me the place in the CC&R where I can look up and see the rule on state trees. It's all subjective. It's who's ever driving through the neighborhood when they come up and drive through the neighborhood and they go, I don't like the looks of that. It's never, they never refer it to a CC&R. You understand? So I'm going to make a video of this. All right, I'm going to make a video of me writing a check. I'm going to put it on YouTube, writing a check, and then I'm going to go to Postnet and I'm going to pay the $15 to get the return receipt. I do that with you, but you don't do that with me. All right? I don't get letters registered mail. I can't believe for 50 cents or 54 cents that you can send me some kind of bogus letter that doesn't get to my address. Out here we have a common mailbox. The mail isn't delivered to my house. All right? It's a common mailbox like an apartment building in New York City. And have you ever saw the Seinfeld episode where the guy didn't get his mail? I had to get a new license. That license got sent to my neighbor's house. That's what happens here. I'm not getting letters. Letters from lawyers. If it's not a registered mail where I signed for it, I don't think you have a case with me. You can send me all the letters you want. You just told me there was a mailing on the 7th and I haven't gotten it. And I didn't get it last year until the 23rd. I couldn't believe it. I opened up that letter, I almost had a heart attack. It went from $285 in September, nothing on it, no fines, no nothing. And then in December, I get it December 23rd. I'm supposed to be anticipating Christmas, enjoying Christmas, and I get a bill for $4,500 out of nowhere. They haven't referenced, there's no picture, there's no description, and there's no reference to the CC&R.
Okay, I'm going to talk to Carolina to see if she can get these off to you and get them mailed to you, okay, to make sure that you receive them. And I will follow up with her, okay?
Well, it doesn't do any good because Carolyn's going to tell you that I'm a demonic monster. She's going to tell you he's nothing but a troublemaker. What I am is a knowledgeable buyer, okay? They screwed up my house. I can't sell my house. You're going to see me on Let Joe Know on ABC one night when he comes out and says, why can't you sell your house through a Buckeye realtor? Because no Buckeye realtor will put down that the house was built wrong by the HOA and the builder. The HOA is the builder now. The builder was responsible for building the house wrong. And since I pay $100 plus a month, the HOA has now become the builder. They have the same responsibility that the builder had. They're collecting $100 a month to keep this community compliant with the master plan. Right now, the community is not compliant with the master plan. We do not have an emergency ingress and egress out of our parcel. The tract A does not drain. It's a wetlands that holds water. The golf cart access we're supposed to have onto the golf course has never been here. Okay, it was here for about 2 years and then they closed it. Okay, they're running a welfare entitlement out here. Now, if you get somebody above you, I got kicked out of a meeting by, what's her name, your head person? I forget her name. She's a head person for AAM, Amanda Shaw. I stood up in a meeting, and to shut me up, she broke a Olympic record hurdling down over chairs. She basically did hurdles over the chairs to get to me, to kick me out of the meeting. You are not going to talk about this in this meeting. I'll have you arrested. And I just left. So I know where Amanda Shaw is. Amanda Shaw, Caroline Clinton, you're all together. You've kicked me out of the HOA because you don't want one apple ruining the barrel. One rotten apple, and that's what I am. I'm an East Coaster. I'm a never Trumper. And out here in Buckeye, I stand out like a turd in a punch bowl. You know why? Because I believe in civil rights. I tried to use that easement 9 years ago, and they threw me in jail for missing a court date that I never knew about. That's Buckeye. All right, Buckeye is run by a syndicate of old boys club, and I don't match. I bought 3 houses out here. If you look on your records, I've been paying dues on 3 houses. I started about 19 years ago, and those houses were empty most of the time. Okay, so nobody was using, and anybody that lived in these houses, when they were lived in, nobody ever used the facility, and I can't. And all these programs, I got sick for about 6 months after they kicked me out of the HOA. I was looking at their website, and after a while, every day I'd get something. If you're a senior, there's a medical screening. If you're a senior, there's a family trust thing. If you're a senior, there's all this stuff that can help you as a retired person, and I can't go to it. They had a Veterans Day. The year right after they kicked me out, or the year after they kicked me out, they had a Veterans Day, a veterans party for veterans. I was in the Marine Corps during Vietnam for 4 years. I got out with an honorable discharge. I could not go to that veterans thing because I'm kicked out of the HOA. All right? Why? Because I'm combative. Do I sound combative now? I'm trying to keep level and keep understanding and have an adult conversation with somebody that they have been running me over. Now, I don't get the mail they send me. If a lawyer letter comes, I don't get it. If it didn't come registered mail, I'm not responsible for it. I don't think you have any right. You run this by Carolyn. Carolyn is supposed to be advising this board out here. These people that run this board out here, she's supposed to tell them what the rules are. That's her job. She's supposed to know the state law. She's supposed to tell them you can't fine him until you give him a hearing. You're out of compliance with the state. All right? Have a little conversation.
I reached out to them, sir, because I want you to have these letters to see what we can do to help you.
What I'm going to do right now is...
with you.
Well,
I already reached out to them, and please make your payment of $313, and then we'll go from there. I'll check on you on Friday, okay, to make sure someone's reached out to you.
Well, I'll tell you what. The 2 people... On the day that I closed the last 2 houses, okay, I had worked with the junior man, the realtor. He was the low man on the pole in the real estate office. And he's the one that helped me buy the 3 houses. I bought 1 and then I bought 2 a couple months later. I didn't sleep for a year because I was taking on all this debt, but I thought it was worth it. There was nothing here. If you can imagine, 19 years ago, there was nothing here. And I came from San Francisco. My big mistake was thinking that I was going to get a fair deal here. As soon as they found out that I was from California and I paid cash for the house, I gave them $30,000 up front for the house, cash, from California. The first thing they did was turn my lot into a retention basin to keep water from running on the golf course. I bought on the golf course, I bought 3 of the best lots on the course. I got here early, right after 9/11. They were making deals out here because they thought they'll close the doors next week. Whatever deal I can make, if it's legal or not legal, I'm making it, because it's so iffy right now. It's right after 9/11. They could close the doors on this place tomorrow. So they made a deal and they sold, or they gave away, or they stole it fair and square, my access easement onto the golf course. Now at first I was upset because I couldn't drive my golf cart. I have to drive like a quarter of a mile out of the way, the wrong way, to get on the golf course. All right, I thought I was going to be 40 feet from it, where my house was. And when I found out that it was also an emergency in and out of the parcel, we're the only parcel out here. Run this by Caroline. Tell her they're the only parcel out there that doesn't have an emergency for fire and rescue. Fire, EMTs. We have 2 portals next door for our parcel, and they're only about 75 yards apart. And they're the only 2 portals, and they're on one of the busiest highways in Buckeye, busiest roads, and they have accidents all the time out there. And when they have accidents, we are naked, because they have an investigation. There's cars everywhere. Nobody can get in and out of the parcel. That's what that access easement and that drainage easement, that's why it was there. It's a multi-purpose easement that was put there by the engineers in Scottsdale about 22 years ago. But when the plan got out here, these people from Buckeye said, we're not that sophisticated out here. We have friends, and we're going to cut costs, and we're not urban Phoenix. This is Buckeye. We pride ourselves in tribal knowledge, and the tribal knowledge is all it's going to be out here. We don't observe the plat map in that corner. The plat map means nothing to us out here. All right? I happen to be an urbanite. I used to sell real estate about 35, 40 years ago in Seattle. I took a course in real estate. All right? The plat map is Trump. All right? And they're brushing this under the rug. And the 2 people that live on each side of that easement are living on a welfare entitlement. We pay for the vegetation, we pay for the watering, we pay for the trimming, and we can't use it. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to get the check in the mail. I'm going to have a video of it, and I'm going to put it online. You tell Carolyn there's another video coming. The next time this happens, and I want to know why I'm not getting this bill.
I reached out to him, sir. I will follow up with you on Friday, okay, as soon as I hear from her. Also going to mail you out the bill again, and I'm also going to mail you out the appeal form. I know you're probably saying that you don't deserve these fines or whatever, but I'll put them in the mail for you so you can at least appeal them.
Wait a minute. I'm supposed to get a hearing before they ever fine me. All right? It's a state law.
Okay, I'm
going to
ask her about the hearing.
Okay,
I'm going to ask her about the hearing, sir. I don't know anything about the violation part. I only know the billing part.
Well,
so
tell
I'll
her
ask her about that to set you up in if that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't know the rules on that, sir.
Well,
so
the thing of it is, I overtalk you. I'm sorry. I do it to everybody.
That's okay.
I want to make sure I get the facts out. First of all, I called Carolyn about a year ago about something, and she hung up on me. She didn't recall our conversation from before. She has so many conversations with people that she doesn't recall one with me. But I only talk to her maybe once a year. And when I do, I remember everything I said to her. Okay? Well, I talked to her on the phone, and I got to the point where, when are you going to open up this easement? I pin them down. I go in there. When I walk in to the HOA building, I've got a portfolio under my arm. I've got maps, I've got documents, I've got pictures, I've got all this stuff, and the first thing they do is get him out of here. Get him out of here, whatever he does. And another thing, I ran for the board last year. Even though I was kicked out, your company sends out ballots, so I filled out the ballot. I had to wait to go in for the meet and greet night. I got to the door, I couldn't get in because I didn't have a key card. A member had to let me in to the meet and greet. Okay? And now I get in there, and I wasn't treated equally. I was told we're going to draw numbers to see what order and where you sit. When I got in there, I was standing there naked, and they had a huddle. All the other candidates and the head of the board had a huddle. I was outside the huddle, and when the head of the board turned around, he handed me an ACE card, and he says, "You're sitting next to me." And it was like a child, a remedial child, sitting next to a parent who was going to keep me in line. All right? This thing, and
okay.
you tell Carolyn.
Let me get with Carolyn, Seaward, then I will get back with you. I will follow up with you on Friday.
Well, you tell Carolyn that I consider her, that she lied about my conduct. You tell her he can think you're a liar, that you had false witness, that you performed false witness against him.
Okay, I'm going to see if she can get somebody to speak with you and help you, okay?
Well, tell her to look for a video, because I'm going to make a video about this right now. And I'm probably going to put this conversation, you might be on the video, because you told me at least the thing. One more resource from you. When was the bill mailed? In
March
December.
7th.
No, in December. When was the bill?
In December?
When were they mailed in December? Do you have that record?
Let me see. Yes, I have that record. In December, it was mailed out on December 15th.
And I didn't get it until about the 22nd. All right? I didn't get it until...
It could take 5 to 7 days. So it's kind of fair. It's kind of fair if you got it on the 22nd in December. So Seaward, that's fair.
Well, Yolanda...
The mailman does take 5 to 7 business days, but I don't know about March, why you didn't receive that one. That's not, you should have received it. So, I'm sorry you didn't.
Well, I'll tell you, I made a video. You ask Carolyn, she's going to be telling you. He's making videos. I made a video of what went on. And I put on the video, I even put down a copy of this bill they sent me, this ridiculous bill, $700. It goes $700 a week, retroactive back to 10. Right now, I'm up to about $12,000 or more, maybe $14,000, and they haven't sent me a picture, a registered letter, a reference to the CC&Rs, what I'm doing. They just are doing this because we want you out of here. We want you out of here. You're a troublemaker. Everybody that you talk to in the neighborhood, you tell them about that easement. And people are starting to ask questions. We don't want them to ask questions. We stole that fair and square years ago, and we're never giving it back. That's the problem. I hope you have recorded this, because I have. All right? And don't take offense. I take offense. I got thrown in jail out here for missing a court date that I never got served on. So if you're taking offense about me putting you on YouTube, I took offense of being thrown in jail for
Well,
missing
sir,
a court that I know.
I
Yeah.
don't do any social media stuff. I don't believe in that stuff in my own personal life. I don't
Well,
do any of that stuff.
where'd
So
you
I do take that in offense.
Where'd you
because
grow
I
up?
don't
If
do
you
that
grew
stuff.
up in Arizona, anywhere around
I
the
did.
Valley of Sun, then you know how corrupt Buckeye is. Buckeye has
Yeah,
the
I grew up
worst.
born and raised in Arizona, sir, but I don't do any social media stuff.
I
I
don't
don't do
have to.
anything.
If you born and raised in Buckeye or in Arizona, then I don't have to tell you about Buckeye. It's got the worst reputation in the friggin' state. All right, the
All right,
most crooked.
let me get you to my boss, sir. Let me get you to my boss. Maybe he can help you a little bit better,
Good.
okay?
Good. Thank you
Let
very
me-
much. It's
let me
about
help you
time.
a little bit better.
It's about time.
Okay.
All right.
Give me one moment, okay?
Yeah.
Please hold, because I don't, I'm just trying to listen and help. One moment.
Well, get me to your boss will help.
Thank you for calling AAM. This is Anthony.
Anthony, what position do you have in the organization?
Yes, I am a customer service supervisor.
Customer service supervisor. Okay. Do you have any contact with like Amanda Shaw or Caroline Clinton or anybody out in the field? How about Brad Luxmark? You know Brad Luxmark or whatever?
Brad Longsmart. I think he's a area manager. That sounds familiar. Amanda, I won't really have anything for Amanda. She's usually not even here in the office. Is there something that I can assist you with?
Well, I've been bleeding all over Yolanda, and if you're her supervisor, I've been having trouble with the HOA out here for 19 years. Okay? They've got me labeled as a gadfly, a shit stirrer, a troublemaker, a carpetbagger, and worst of all, I'm a Yankee through California. I'm a Yankee that started out in New York, and I came via San Francisco. All right?
Gotcha.
Both hated by Buckeye people. You got to understand, we're in Waco, Texas here in Buckeye. I tried to get across to Yolanda. Buckeye is the most corrupt town in the state of Arizona, or it was 20 years ago. If you ask anybody, what's the most corrupt town in the state, they'd go Buckeye. All right? Worst the police department, everything else. Well, 20 years ago, I came here from California and bought 3 of the best lots on the course. Okay? I had money, and the local people, on the day that I closed the last 2 houses, the realtor looked at me and said, "This will never happen again." And I looked at him and I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, You came in here from somewhere else. You tied up 3 of the best lots. You brought in play money from California. He didn't have to say that much. When all he had to say is this was very unpopular with the local people, it will never happen again. From now on, 1 person, 1 house, because of you. All right? Nobody liked this. And 3 weeks later, I had a letter in my file. Now, I had 3 houses out here. I've broken a record out here. Nobody holds the record for more written checks for fines and dues than I have. I've had 3 houses. I had 3 houses for 10 years and then 2 houses for the rest of the time. And a year and a half ago, I sold the 2nd house. Now I got 1 house left, and they're still trying to get rid of me. I've got a personal vendetta against me from local morons that I explained it to Yolanda. I can't sell my house. My house isn't marketable out here.
Gotcha.
Because they built it wrong. When I came here from California and I gave them $30,000 cash up front, the first thing they did is they had a huddle, a scrum, a lodge meeting, a powwow, whatever you want to call it, a back room cigar smoking, liquor drinking, old boys club meeting, and they said, we're not going to build it right up there where he bought. He doesn't have Arizona money. He's got California money. It's only got half value. That means that we're only going to give him half of what he thinks he's going to get for a lot. He thinks he's going to get a golf cart access 40 feet from his house. He's not going to get it. He thinks he's going to get a house with a sewer system that is A1 par, that matches and passes inspection. I didn't get it. The first thing they did when I gave them my money is they went downtown to a crooked bureaucrat down there, and a crooked builder and a crooked bureaucrat lowered my house finished floor elevation 3 inches. All right? They tampered with my sewer pipes. My sewer pipes are a passive system. When you lower the house, you lower the angle to the street of the sewage. Okay? And it says on the front of the plan for the community plan, the CCNR, the master blueprint, it says all the houses in this community that have their finished floor elevation calculated by an engineer here designing the community, you can't touch the elevations. You have to leave them as they are. They lowered. I have proof. I have the proof. Nobody in downtown Buckeye will talk to me. The last time I went into town hall in Buckeye, they threatened to arrest me. I said, I'll wait over here until somebody comes and talks to me. Because when they get my name, I've already told enough people that they know. He knows. He knows. He knows we screwed up his house. He knows what happened with the easement. You know, he has all this information. He has maps, documents. We're not going to talk to him. And I've had this twice. I go to the second floor in Buckeye, and the first thing when I say, can I talk to an engineer? They go, what's your name? And I tell them my name, and when they come out, they go, nobody's here to talk to you.
Gotcha.
Nobody's here. And so I said, well, I'm going to go over here in the corner, and when an engineer shows up, you send him over. I want to talk to an engineer. I want to know how my house 19 years ago got lowered 3 inches when it says you can't do it. All right? I have the permit and I have the blueprint. And the HOA can't stand it. They can't stand the fact that he knows this. Okay? I worked on airplanes for United Airlines and US Air here. I received and dispatched airplanes for a living. I was a lawyer. I practiced law. There was no way I was ever going to tell a pilot that his plane was good if it wasn't. Now, all right, they let me believe that I had a compliant house as far as my sewer and my finished floor elevation and my lot drainage. Not only did they lower my house, but they put a berm across my lot between me and the golf course so all the water stayed on my lot. That golf course is drainage. Its biggest purpose is drainage. It's supposed to drain the communities. It's a sacrificial lamb when we have monsoons. But when that plan got out here 20 years ago, like I said, they had a huddle, a lodge meeting, whatever you want to call it, and they said, this plan doesn't work for us.
Okay.
All right, it costs too much.
Any, compliance?
What?
Have you received any, compliance from the HOA? Have you received any, violations?
That's the thing, I haven't received anything. You have to understand. Let me go back and start from the beginning. And I'm going to tell you like I told Yolanda. I'm recording this. Okay?
Okay, I definitely understand. Hey, hold on. I'm sorry. I didn't catch your name.
My name is Seward Lasham.
Okay. So Stuart, pretty much what it sounds like, this is just something in regards to, the builder, the property, more on the sales of the home, right? Because usually this is kind of like the HOA side, this is the homeowners of association. Usually what we kind of deal with is kind of like the community things aside. So this sounds like the sewers, the water trails. I mean that is something that would be a part of us, what we handle. usually on the cells and the town, that's all usually like by the city. Unfortunately, the HOA doesn't really deal with the city like that. We kind of have, like, as long as if you're like within compliance, if you're not getting any violations with regards to that, that's usually what we would pretty much handle. You know what I mean? Like anything that's
Wait a
in
minute.
regards to like
Okay.
the community.
I've listened to your canned response. I'm sure you give that same response to everybody. This is a unique situation, okay?
Gotcha. And unfortunately,
you will never understand it. You're going off and giving me these lectures, and you haven't even listened to the story yet. You haven't got the story. Olanda got the story. Let me tell you what happened in September. In September.
Okay, hold on, Stuart. So Stuart, before you start, I just don't want you to waste your time because this wouldn't really be something that I follow up with. This wouldn't be something on my side of the fence. Usually, this is kind of information that's going to be for the community manager, that stuff for on that side of the fence. Unfortunately, I'm kind of here on the billing side of things that I could pretty much handle. If this is not something really in regards to billing, I wouldn't really be able to help you. You know what I mean? This would kind of be something that a manager would have to pretty much be involved in. Have you spoken to a community manager?
Caroline hangs up on me. Okay? She lied about my conduct and got me kicked out of. If I had Donald Trump's money or if I had a good lawyer, I'd put in a deposition. I'd be suing her. They kicked me out of the HOA. I showed up for a meeting in an HOA, and I stayed throughout the whole meeting. I didn't know that tribal knowledge was everybody leaves. When they break for halftime, nobody comes back. They go into executive session. I didn't know that. That was tribal knowledge. It's not on the notification when you come to the meeting. When it says come to the meeting for the whole meeting, that's what I did. Well, I was the only one that was sitting in the room when they came back at halftime. And the first thing that Caroline Clinton said was to all the rest of the people on the board is our agenda that we were going to talk about in the second half has been more or less gutted. We can't talk about what we were going to talk about because we're not alone. Okay? I was sitting there. All right? That never happened again because within 3 days, my key card was gone. The head of the board went to the police. He told the police that I was harassing meetings, that I had to have the police come and pick me up, throw me out of meetings, that I was a constant harasser, demonize me to the police. And you know what the police did? Instead of going to this guy and taking a statement from him, they came to me. They trample my civil rights. I've been out here. When a golfer walks on my property, and I call the police and I said, I just got trespassed on. He's in cart number so-and-so. If you go to the thing, you'll see him. The policeman comes out and tells me, puts me on camera, and says, until you give us a statement, and they don't tell you you're on camera. I now know I'm on camera. The policeman won't. They won't tell you. So they come out and they get you on camera. What happened was this head guy for the HOA, he's the mayor's campaign manager. He gives the mayor $30,000. He's also the treasurer of the HOA out here. All right? He tells, instead of Caroline telling him the rules of what he can do and can't do, he tells her what he can do and what he can do and what he can't do. And if you don't like it, we'll get another person out here to represent us. So that's what I'm dealing with. But what I'm telling you is in September, I got a bill for $285, just straight dues in September. I paid it. I thought it's over. All right? I haven't received anything. No letters, no registered mail, nothing from the HOA to indicate that I would have a problem. And if you look, in December, on December 23rd, I finally get a letter, and I got a $4,500 charge.
Okay.
They started charging me from October 1st. I paid the dues in September, and there was nothing on the dues on the invoice. It says a straight, nothing on it, nothing wrong. All you got to do is pay the $285. That's your membership fee. I paid it. And then the next bill I get on the 23rd of December, they backdated to the 1st of October. Shouldn't I have known that in September? That starting October 1st, we're going to start charging you $100 a day? No, we're not even going to tell you. We're not going to send you a letter or anything. And then on the 23rd of December, 2 days before Christmas, we're going to send you the next bill, backdated, $700 a week, all the way back to October 1st. Now, can you explain how we got from a zero balance as far as fines and no letters, no nothing, and to have a $4,500 bill? How often does this happen? How often does this happen?
Okay, let's take a look. Okay, what's the property address, please?
Okay, it's 23327 West Twilight Trail. My account number is 1448619, and I want to thank you for looking it up and doing the research. That should have been the first thing we did.
Okay, just give me one moment while I look over the account. Okay. Look like it's kind of like the violations in regards to like a sign. I'm going through like the compliance side of things, and I can see that they've been sending you some letters, compliance about signs.
The sign one I complied with. I took the sign down, so that's not the issue. The issue is I'm working on my lot. They lowered the floor elevation of my lot. My lot doesn't drain correctly. It never has. Okay? I have videos. I put them on YouTube. The problem. All right? That's what I'm doing. I'm fixing the drainage in my lot. Okay? And I'm also walking point. I'm getting hit by golf balls, and people are walking in my yard all the time. So I've made some changes to my yard. They won't describe to me what violation I've done. All they say is you're doing something to your yard. Until you get permission, you're going to get fined. That's so ambiguous, so opaque. All right? It's their duty before they start charging me $100 a day to define to me and send me pictures of what I am violating and relate it to the CC&R. Send me the paragraph, the sentence, the page in the CC&R that tells me what I'm violating. And the thing of it is, they've been doing this out here for 15, 20 years. You're so far away from Phoenix and litigation and lawyers that they think that nobody's watching them out here in Buckeye. We can do this in Buckeye. We wouldn't get away with this in Scottsdale, or we wouldn't get away with this in Mesa, but we can get away with it in Buckeye because we own the police, we own the mayor, we own the civil service. Even though the guy's got a plat map that says that's supposed to drain, it's supposed to be an access easement, it's supposed to be an emergency in and out, we don't recognize plat maps in Buckeye. We're not that sophisticated. What we have is a problem. We got a guy from San Francisco who's a city person coming out here worrying about city rules, and we're not going to follow city rules in Buckeye. All right? We're outside the 12-mile limit. They were 19 years ago. When they pulled this off 19 years ago, there was nothing here. Okay? They said, the guy's from California. He's buying with scrip. His money isn't the same money that people from Arizona spend and earn in Arizona. He brought it from California. It's play money. He isn't going to get what he thinks he's going to get. And I found out about it. Everybody, I brought an engineer out here, and the first thing the engineer did was write it up. And they had to spend a lot of money to rework this easement.
Okay.
All right.
As of right now, Sidward, I'm going to actually email and reach out to Brad Lundmark. He's actually the area manager for you guys. I'm not going to go through Caroline. I'm just going to go through the area manager. He's pretty much the one that looks over the actual area. And
he's on my mailing list. I sent him about, you tell Brad, you reach out to him, say, did you get a bunch of videos from Seward Lasham in the last couple of weeks? And he'll say, well, I didn't look at them.
Okay. So
you better have him take a look at them. All right?
So as of right now, correct. So as of right now, I'm going to reach out to him because this is kind of on that side of the fence. Unfortunately, I won't be able to assist you on this side of the fence. So I'm going to do the communication and reach out to Brad and see if we can get him to reach out to you and see if they can definitely discuss all like the violations, because technically that kind of comes from them. You know what I mean? So I have a phone number here, 480-202-9940.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe you should have Brad look up and see, can you find, and I, not only this fine, but I pay everything under protest. Everything I write, I put under protest. Now, I'm up to about $12,000 right now, right? Tell me what the, what the figure is now.
Right now you're about $17,844.30.
$17,844. You know how that's going to look on Let Joe Know ABC 15? I'm an ex-Marine that served during Vietnam for 4 years. I got an honorable discharge. I worked for United. I'm an airplane mechanic. All right, you're going to do this to somebody like me after you've already screwed me? You guys, this lawsuit, and from what I hear, AAN, you're not part of West Park anymore out here. They kicked you out of West Park, all right, from what I hear. And you don't have a very good reputation. And as far as Amanda Shaw goes, Amanda Shaw kicked me out, treated me like I was a dirty dog. She treated me like a rat because I stood up in a meeting. She was trying to sell them Kool-Aid. I spit the Kool-Aid out in one of the meetings, and she kicked me out of the meeting. All right? You're crooked from the top down. All right? Call Brad and have Brad explain to Caroline so that Caroline can explain to the board. Caroline should be explaining to the board that you can't find this guy until you give him a hearing. All right? You can't issue fines until they have a hearing. All right? I want a hearing where I go in front of the board and I'd say, how come I have to dodge golf balls all day long in my yard? How come you won't move that tee box? The reason I have what I've done to my yard is to protect myself from people walking in my yard. I've had thousands of golf balls and thousands of people walking in my yard. That's why I'm doing stuff to my yard, but they don't seem to get it. And they don't want to listen to it.
Well, you do have to actually follow within the compliance of rules and regulations. So if you're going to be making changes to your front, those are guidelines that you have to follow. Sundance Adult Village, they have their own rules and regulations. If you're not within compliance, they're going to get those violations for you, even if you don't have a hearing or not. You have to, because when you purchase this lot, you also agree to the terms and conditions of the community.
Anthony. It's Anthony, right?
Yes, sir.
Anthony, thank you, first of all, for listening. It's good therapy, because I haven't been able to get anybody in your organization to listen to me ever since I decided. I kept quiet for about the first 3 years I was here. I'm single. I had 3 houses I had to pay off. I had a job working for America West, then it was US Air. I'm an airplane mechanic. I was driving to the airport every day from Buckeye, 35 miles each way on one of the worst roads. That's when I-10 was a goat trail, okay? I had 3 houses. I couldn't participate. I didn't have time to play golf. I never went. I was an unknown. But on the day that I closed the houses 19 years ago after waiting, the guy told me, the realtor, he goes, this will never happen again. It was unpopular. It was unpopular. So I've been unpopular with the HOA since I've been here. Now, when I got here and they had my golf cart path all filled in with trees and shrubbery and stuff like that, I said, where's my golf cart path? They wouldn't even talk to me. They got up and walked out of the room. So but they told me it was a drain. I never knew it was a drain. I never knew it was a drain. I said, where's my golf cart path? And the girl from AAM, Pat Pence Young, wrote back. She went extemporary. She didn't consult with the people out here. If they would have told her, don't say anything about a drain. Well, she wrote back and says, it's not a walking easement, it's a drain. And then when I realized it was a drain, now all this drainage language come in. So I went and got all the plans. I got the master plan for the community. I went and got all the rules for all the drainage rules for Maricopa County and Buckeye. They broke every rule out here. All right? And they're not observing the plat map. And when I called up an engineer, I went to the city councilman. I went in, he was a Marine, I was a Marine. So I said, hey, I think I got screwed over here in this corner. I think we're supposed to have a drain and we're supposed to have a lot of stuff over here, and it's being used as a private privacy for these 2 houses on each side. And the guy says, I'll have somebody look into it. Well, anyway, about a month later, he writes me back and he goes, the engineer came out and wrote it up. So I got an engineer. The engineer came out and wrote it up. As soon as he saw what he did, he wrote it up and said, this is out of compliance. You're out of compliance. So I've been hated ever since. They had to spend a lot of money because of me. I'm a whistleblower. Okay, we got to get rid of the whistleblower. That's why we're gonna sucker punch him at Christmas with a $4,500, and I got nothing, and you're gonna have nothing. You don't have one signed receipt from me for all right. I don't think you should be able to put a $4,000 fine on somebody for a 52-cent stamp. You send me a letter, you send the letters to me to the wrong address. I changed my address a year and a half ago. When they send me letters, they send it to the old address. I send them back. All right? This is a legal, standalone legal document. Every time you send me a violation, that's a standalone legal document. All right? So don't spend 52 cents. If you're going to send me a legal document that you can later on down the road find me $100 a day, that legal document better be sent to me special delivery that I signed for. All right? Now, with the way the mail is out here, the way the mail is, like I said, I had a license. I had to get a new license. It went to my neighbor's address. If I didn't have an honest neighbor, I would have never gotten it. I would never have a license. He went there, and that's what we deal with out here. But like I said,
so as of right now, before you continue, I'm going to definitely reach out to Brad so we can definitely get this resolved.
I've reached out to Brad. I've sent him emails. I send him videos. He don't call me back. Have him call me back because I have the resources. And if I ever get a lawyer, I've got a history. I've got a file that's about huge. I could fill a box with all the letters and fines they've been harassing me with. Okay?
Okay, Stewart. So let me actually reach out to Brad because I definitely want to make sure I cover your story and I can get it to Brad and make sure that I don't miss anything. Okay, so let me reach out to Brad. Let me reach out to Caroline. Let me get those two involved. So hopefully we can start, to get the ball rolling, and we can get them to reach out to you. Okay.
I'm thinking about going to the University of Arizona Law School. Take all the paperwork, take all the documents, all the paperwork, all the pictures, all the maps to Arizona Law School, and have some students say, hey, here you go, digest this, all right? Or I can go to Let Joe Know, ABC Let Joe Know, or get some investigative reporter that wants to come out here and see just what can happen to a single person. I'm single. Every time I walk into Caroline's domain, when I walk into the which I can't do anymore, I'm locked out, but when I did, I walked in there with my key card. I was in her chessboard. I'm alone, by myself. She's got 3 subordinates that will lie for her. And they all practice being afraid of me. I go in and if I raise my voice, they go, oh, call the police. He's here. Call the police. They'll get him out of here. All right? That's what's been happening. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker, okay? I know the difference. This is a big lawsuit coming, dude. You don't understand. I'm telling you, if all this was to ever come out, I've had 20 years of misery here, okay? 20 years where they jumped on me. You talk to Amanda Shaw. You ask her if she's treated me fairly, okay?
Okay. So as of right now, say what? Yeah. So let me go ahead and reach out to the area manager, and I'll get them involved. Okay.
Well, I'm sending out a check today. I'm going to send it right directly to you. All it's going to be on there is paid under protest and the account number, and for dues only. You understand that all I have to do is miss one dues payment, and you can foreclose on me. Do you know that?
Okay.
Do you know that?
I do not.
Do you know that? You come on, you're in collection. You know that, right?
So Seaward, okay, hold on. Let's stop right now, okay, sir. So I'm going to stop you right there because, we're definitely going to keep going and going. And I understand what you're saying, and I apologize if you're going through all this. But let me reach out to Brad so I can get them started, so I can reach out to them so they can contact you, okay?
Well, you understand my anxiety that if I don't get this paid in on time, you have... In 12 days, you can go into foreclosure on me.
Okay.
Now,
Okay,
one last thing, Anthony. You calculate, if you have the ability, if you can do that, how much dues I've paid since I've been here. I started paying dues in 2005. January of 2005, I started paying dues on 3 houses. I paid dues on 3 houses for 10 years, and then dues on 2 houses for about 9 years, and now I'm doing dues on 1 house and $100 a day in fines, and you haven't told me a thing. You haven't told me a thing. It's like we don't have to tell you. It's the same when we arrested you. Why are you arresting me? You missed the court date. I missed the court date. What court date? All right? I got out of jail. After 4 days in jail, I had a Buckeye judge hold up my summons in front of me. When I said I didn't know about a court date, he took my summons and he held it up and he goes, of course you didn't. We never mailed it to you. We're in Buckeye. We're outside the 12-mile limit. We don't have to give you due process in Buckeye. Okay? All right? We can do this to you. We can throw you in jail, give you a mug shot and everything else, without due process, because you're a troublemaker. You're a troublemaker.
So as of right now, sir, let me reach out to Brad so we can get the ball rolling with that, okay?
Well, this whole thing could go on YouTube. I could put this whole thing on YouTube. And as far as I'm concerned, if he doesn't call me back, if I don't get a call back from him shortly about this, how we're going to resolve this and get this $100 a day, because I ain't living with it. I'm not giving you $100 a day. You're going to have to go through the whole process with me. And I've got a lot more information than you think I do. Please don't underestimate me. Okay?
I understand,
Please.
sir. Okay.
Okay?
Gotcha.
All right. Thank you, Anthony.
All right, sir.